It's been a year since everything shattered, since my world turned upside down. The memory of her leaving me, without a word of warning, haunts me every day. I still remember the cold finality in her eyes when she walked out the door, the slamming of the front door echoing in my ears. She ran off with a younger man, a boy with a smile she couldn't resist, a boy who gave her everything I couldn't. Now, here I am, at my daughter's wedding, fighting the urge to look over my shoulder at every turn. Every part of this day should be filled with joy, but there's this gnawing feeling in the pit of my stomach that keeps me on edge. The pride I feel for my daughter, the love that should be so pure today, is tainted by the events of the past. The scars run deeper than I ever let anyone see. As I watch my daughter walk down the aisle, my heart swells with emotion. She's beautiful, radiant, a momentous occasion in her life, one I had always imagined sharing with her mother by my side. But it's just me today. Just me. The ceremony is unfolding in front of me, but I can't fully focus. My thoughts wander back to the pain of the betrayal. I keep asking myself if she ever really cared about me, or if it was all a lie. A beautiful facade built for years, only to be torn apart in an instant. Just as I try to center myself, the doors to the hall open, and my mind goes blank. I see her, the last person I ever expected to see here today. My ex-wife walks into the room, her head held high, a confident smile playing on her lips. She glides into the hall as if she never left, as if her departure and the year of silence never happened. The guests are murmuring, some surprised, others confused. I don't know if they recognize her immediately or if they even care, but I do. And all I feel is a storm brewing inside me. She stands there, for a moment, just taking in the room, as though she belongs. Every inch of her posture screams arrogance, like she owns the place. I can't believe she's here, at my daughter's wedding, after all that's happened, after everything she did to me, the betrayal, the affair, the abandonment. I want to say something, confront her, but I don't. Not yet. I don't want to make a scene, especially not today. She's watching me now. I can feel her eyes on me, and in that moment, it feels as if time itself has paused. And then, with her usual air of superiority, she starts walking toward me. There's no hesitation in her steps. She's completely unfazed by the stunned stares of the guests, the awkward tension in the air, as if she's already made up her mind that she can walk back into my life, just like that. The room is quiet, almost too quiet. It feels like the walls are closing in as she approaches me, her every step echoing in my mind like a countdown. When she reaches me, she doesn't even bother with pleasantries. She simply stands there, her smile cold and calculating. "You owe me for the year of marriage," she says, her voice smooth, yet harsh. "Or take me back to your bed. It's your choice." Her words hit me like a slap. I can hardly believe what I'm hearing. She left me for another man. She discarded me, and now she's here, asking for more, asking me to take her back after everything. I can feel my pulse quicken. My thoughts race. I don't know whether to laugh, scream, or cry. The nerve of her. I meet her gaze with a smirk, though it's cold, distant. I've come to terms with what happened. I've rebuilt my life, piece by piece, and she is no longer a part of it. "You wanted more, didn't you?" I say, my voice steady. "Well, now you've got it. The year of marriage was a game to you, but you're not getting another penny from me, and I don't want you back." Her smile falters for just a moment, but she quickly regains her composure. There's something unsettling in her eyes, something that feels like a warning, a prelude to something I can't quite see yet. She doesn't back down. Instead, she leans in closer, as though we're sharing some secret that no one else knows. And in that moment, I realize that I don't fully understand what game she's playing, but I'm about to find out. I watch her, not giving an inch. I can feel the tension between us, thick as fog. She doesn't flinch, doesn't react the way I expect. Instead, she stands there, almost daring me to challenge her further. She takes a step closer, her eyes narrowing, her lips curling into a sly smile. The world seems to disappear, leaving just the two of us standing there. The guests around us, the wedding itself, it all fades into the background. The only thing that matters in this moment is the woman in front of me. "You don't know who you're dealing with, do you?" she says, her voice low but filled with a sense of power. It's the same tone she used when she first convinced me to marry her all those years ago. The same tone that lulled me into a false sense of security. I lean back in my chair, crossing my arms, keeping my cool. The guests may not know what's happening, but I know. She's playing a game, and I have no intention of being a pawn. "I know exactly who you are," I say, my voice firm. "You're someone who's always wanted more. More money, more attention, more of everything, and you never thought there'd be consequences. But you were wrong." The room feels even quieter now. Her eyes flicker with something like anger, but then it's gone, replaced by a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. I know there's more to this than just a demand for money, but I don't know what yet. "Fine," she says, her voice dripping with a mix of disdain and amusement. "But you'll regret this. You'll regret not taking me back." I watch as she steps away, and something feels off. The threat is clear, but it's the way she said it that makes my skin crawl. There's more to this than I can see. She gives me one last glance before she turns, leaving me with more questions than answers. What game is she playing? And why does it feel like the calm before a storm? As my ex-wife walks away, I feel the weight of the moment sink in. But just as I think she's done, she stops, turns around, and, with a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes, she speaks again. "I didn't just come for you," she says, her voice chillingly calm. "I came for her." For a moment, I don't understand. My gaze flickers to my daughter, standing nervously by the altar, her expression a mix of confusion and concern. "What do you mean?" I ask, a knot tightening in my stomach. Her smile widens and she tilts her head, as though she's enjoying watching me struggle to understand. "You know," she continues, "there's more to the story than you think. More than I've ever told you. The real reason I left. And it involves her." I feel my heart skip a beat. My breath catches in my throat as I look back at my daughter. What could my ex-wife possibly have to do with her? What could she want from my daughter? The room falls eerily quiet. Every eye is on us now, the conversation having shifted from a quiet exchange to something much darker. I can see the look of worry on my daughter's face. It's as though she's beginning to realize, just like I am, that this is far from over. I don't know what's coming, but whatever it is, it's about to change everything. I stand there, my mind racing. What does she mean by, "it involves her"? My daughter? What could she possibly have to do with this mess? I can feel a cold sweat forming on my brow as my thoughts spiral. "Tell me what you mean," I demand, but my voice trembles slightly. I can't mask my concern anymore, but my ex-wife doesn't answer. Instead, she gives me a cold, knowing look, then turns to walk away. "Soon enough, you'll know the truth," she says over her shoulder, her voice low, ominous. "But don't say I didn't warn you." She steps out of the room, leaving behind an air of tension that feels impossible to shake off. I watch her leave, but the sense of foreboding only grows. I turn to my daughter, trying to make sense of it all. She's staring at me, wide-eyed, confused. I can see the fear in her eyes, and my heart aches. What just happened? And what does my ex-wife want with my daughter? As I stand there, the pieces begin to fall into place. But I don't have all the answers yet. I don't even know the questions. All I know is that my life, our lives, are about to change forever. As the last echoes of my ex-wife's words linger in the air, I feel the weight of the moment pressing down on me. The guests are still, unsure of how to react, their eyes shifting between me and the woman who has just caused this unexpected disruption. My heart is pounding, but I can't shake the feeling that this is far from over. I turn to my daughter, her face pale, her hands trembling. She hasn't moved since my ex-wife walked out of the room. I approach her slowly, trying to offer comfort, but the unease between us feels like an insurmountable wall. "What did she mean?" My daughter's voice is barely above a whisper. "What did she mean when she said it involved me?" I wish I had answers. I wish I could tell her that everything is fine, that it was just a threat or a bad joke, but I know that's not the case. There's something much darker beneath the surface, something I haven't seen coming. "I don't know," I admit, my voice strained, "but we're going to figure it out. We'll get to the bottom of this, I promise." But as I look at my daughter, I realize how powerless I feel. My ex-wife has always been unpredictable, capable of manipulating any situation to her advantage. And now she's brought my daughter into whatever game she's playing. The storm that has been brewing for over a year is finally here, and there's no telling what she's capable of. I try to push the thoughts out of my mind as the ceremony continues, but I can't help it. My gaze constantly drifts back to the door, to the place where my ex-wife disappeared. In that moment, I realize something that terrifies me. This is just the beginning. The next few days are a blur. I try to put the incident out of my mind, focusing on my daughter's wedding and helping her navigate the next steps in her life. But in the back of my head, the words from my ex-wife echo endlessly. It involves her. I keep asking myself, what could my ex-wife want with my daughter? What does she mean by that? She never explained herself fully, and I can't stop wondering if she's just playing some kind of sick game or if there's something far more dangerous at play. I go through the motions, work, phone calls, checking in with my daughter, all the while haunted by the unknown. But then, one night, as I'm alone in my study, there's a knock at the door. I freeze, my heart racing. Who could it be at this hour? I walk cautiously toward the door, my mind racing through possibilities. Could it be my ex-wife returning with more demands? Or is it someone else with answers? I open the door, my breath catching in my throat. Standing there is a man I don't recognize, tall and imposing, with a look that sends a shiver down my spine. His eyes are cold, calculating, like someone who's been watching for a long time, waiting for the perfect moment to make his move. "I'm looking for you," the man says. His voice is calm, but there's an underlying threat to it. "We need to talk. It's about your daughter." Every instinct in me screams to slam the door, to keep this stranger out, but something in the pit of my stomach tells me this is no coincidence. My ex-wife's cryptic words come rushing back. It involves her. I step aside, allowing the man into my home, though I'm filled with dread. What is he here for? And how does he know about my daughter? He doesn't waste time. "You'll want to hear this," he says, his voice dropping to a whisper. "It's about your wife and the things she's hiding, the things that could destroy everything you know." The pieces of the puzzle are starting to fall into place, but I'm not ready for what I'm about to hear. The man sits down, his presence overwhelming the room. His eyes never leave me, and the silence between us feels suffocating. I sit across from him, my mind racing with questions. Who is this guy? What does he know? And why does he have information about my ex-wife? "You don't know everything about her, do you?" he asks, his voice low, almost like a whisper. "You think you know her story, but there's more, much more than you could imagine." I shake my head, disbelief and frustration welling up inside me. "What do you mean? What's going on? And why are you involved?" The man's gaze hardens. He leans forward, his voice barely audible. "Your ex-wife didn't just leave you for a younger man. That was only part of the plan. She's been involved in something much darker for years, something that connects her to people you wouldn't want to mess with. And now, she's got her eyes on your daughter." I'm stunned. The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My ex-wife. the woman I once loved, the mother of my daughter. She's been hiding a secret life, and now she's dragging my daughter into whatever twisted game she's playing. I'm here because your daughter is in danger, the man continues. Your ex-wife has ties to people who deal in things you can't even imagine. She's been manipulating everything, using her charm and her lies to climb higher and higher. But now, the people she's been dealing with want something from her, and it's not just money. I feel my heart drop. What do they want? And what does this have to do with my daughter? The man's face tightens. Your ex-wife's past is more dangerous than you realize. She's been playing both sides, and now the consequences are about to catch up with her. Your daughter, she's going to be part of the fallout, whether she wants it or not. I can't believe what I'm hearing. My ex-wife, this woman I thought I knew, is entangled in something far beyond anything I ever imagined. And now, my daughter, the one person I vowed to protect, is caught in the crossfire of whatever game my ex-wife has been playing. I look at the man sitting across from me, my mind struggling to process what he's just told me. How could she have kept this secret for so long? How could she have been living a double life without anyone noticing? Why didn't you tell me sooner? I ask, my voice shaky. Why are you telling me all of this now? The man leans back in his chair, folding his arms across his chest. I didn't know if you were ready to hear it, but now it's too late to hide the truth. The people your ex-wife has been dealing with, they're not the type you can walk away from. They're ruthless, and they're coming for her. I take a deep breath, my hands clenched into fists. What do they want from her? From me? He pauses before speaking again, his tone serious. They want power, control, and they're going to use your daughter as leverage to get it. If you don't act fast, they'll make sure she's just another pawn in their game. I'm paralyzed by fear, by the weight of what's happening. The room feels smaller, the walls closing in as the implications of his words sink in. My ex-wife is in deeper than I thought, and now my daughter is in danger because of her. I'll protect her, I say, the words coming out more forcefully than I feel. I won't let them use her. The man stands up, his eyes hardening. It's not going to be that simple. Your ex-wife is already playing a dangerous game, and if you don't step up, you'll lose everything. Your daughter, your life, everything. I don't sleep that night. My mind races as I replay everything the man told me. My ex-wife's dark secrets, the people she's been involved with, and the danger my daughter is now in. Every time I close my eyes, I see my daughter's face, her confusion and fear. She doesn't deserve any of this. The next morning, I call her. She's still shaken by the events of the wedding, but I can tell she's trying to stay strong. I need to be there for her, to protect her, but I don't know how. I don't know how to fix this. I decide to confront my ex-wife. She's the key to all of this. I have to get answers from her, even if it means facing her wrath. I don't care anymore. I'll do whatever it takes to protect my daughter. I drive to the place where I know she's hiding, the last place I would expect her to be. I can feel the tension in my chest tightening with every mile. When I arrive, I see her standing outside, waiting for me. She looks calm, as though none of this matters to her, as though everything is under control. You came, she says, her voice soft, but there's a hint of mockery in it. You're not going to get away with this, I say, my words filled with determination. I'm going to protect her from whatever mess you've gotten her into. She smiles, almost pitying me. You don't understand. You never did. The final choice is in front of me. My ex-wife, the dangerous woman she's become, and my daughter, the innocent caught in the middle. As I stand facing her, the weight of everything crashes down on me. The stakes are higher than I ever imagined. You don't get to play the hero now, she says, her voice cold. You're too late. I clench my fists, trying to steady my breath. I'm not leaving without her. Her smile falters, but only for a moment. You still think you can protect her? After everything? I step forward, resolute. I'll do whatever it takes. She's my daughter. Just then, I hear a car pull up behind me. I turn to see the man from the night before, standing with another figure, someone I never expected. It's her lover, the one she left me for. "Get out of the way," he says, his tone threatening. "This doesn't concern you anymore." I stand my ground. "It concerns me more than you know." But before I can react, my daughter steps out of the shadows, her face pale but determined. "Dad, I'm not going with her," she says, her voice shaking but firm. My heart swells with pride, but the danger's far from over. "You don't get to choose," my ex-wife snaps. But my daughter looks at me, and in her eyes, I see the strength she's inherited from me. I take her hand, silently promising that I will protect her no matter what. Meanwhile, I'm pulling out my pistol and shooting my ex-wife and her lover dead, so that me and daughter can live our lives with happiness. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so and press the notification bell. This way, you'll stay updated with more shocking real-life stories.